But she's still the same old Stephanie Rollins underneath all that mess, man. So that's your man, the petrosexual that wants to be everywhere. It wants to be everywhere, except perhaps home. Maybe she running from something, except home. But to hear these men, man, some of them, I don't want to sound homophobic. I don't want to be gay bashing. No, they gay basking out there in Drew Hill Park is what they were doing. But I'm going to be gay asking, man. Gay asking in terms of where their morals and where their values and where their ethics. They say we're not going to have no same-sex marriage ceremonies. At least we're not going to do it on Father's Day. We're not going to do it this weekend. We're not going to do it on Sunday. It's supposed to be the holiest day of the week for Christians. We're not going to do it on that day. We got 6 other days of the week we can do it on, Madam Mayor. We can do it during Mardi Gras. We can do it on Fat Tuesday. We can do it during any other day of the year. And then the diss city clerk, Frank Conaway. Again, the diss city clerk, Frank Conaway. She ain't asked his permission to do it. She could have said, well, I can't even sign off on it. Y'all real certificates, you got to go down to the courthouse to pick them up anyway. How about we all meet down there on Monday, Moon Day? Worshiping of the moon, or go down there on Tuesday, the God of war, or go down there on Thursday. But they could have done it on any day. But here's some of these brothers, man, supposed to be strong. They come on doing self-negation when it comes to talking about the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender. And it's not all, because not all gays were out there trying to get married. Some of them just want to be with their partners, and they don't want you to be all up in their business. But as you're mad, they got that petrosexual and a metrosexual. The metrosexual, them brothers can't stay out the mirror. They always want to look at themselves, see how they look. You know what I'm talking about, sisters. They putting on more perfume than you putting on. They got a man purse. You know what I'm talking about, brothers. The ones when we were coming up, we be playing ball. They be on the sideline playing jacks with the little sisters, man. You know what I'm talking about. Got a lot of them running around in this city. Some of them were out there in the park. Now, just to signify, or maybe they thought they was going to get a hookup. I'm not available now, but I'll be available later. You know how some of them are, man. They be creeping. But it was an insult, man, for the Sun paper to try to, again, put the focus on Councilman Carl Stokes rather than put the focus on Harbor Point, put the focus on these corporations and these white fake liberals, or these fake white liberals and their nonprofit industrial complex that makes gobs of money, plenty of money, have waxed cold rich off of black people, brown people, and poor white people in this city. You can't even get a baseball field. Heard Doc Cheatham on there crying his heart out this morning talking about a baseball field. They got doggy parks over there to Patterson. They got one part of the park, they got a fence around, say, for the little dogs. Then they got another part, say, for the big dogs. And you can't even get a baseball field, say, for the little children, and then one, say, for the big children. But it lets you see where your mayor priorities are. And then they hear dum-dum say, well, that happened under Schaefer. Well, Schaefer was your boy. If I can keep it real, don't let me open up that can of worms. Or maybe you were Schaefer boy. Maybe that's what you were Schaefer's boy. And Schaefer did have some boys in the city, man. That's another show for another day. But Schaefer did have some boys. And he turned into some old wafers, if you know what I mean. They were Schaefer's wafers around here is what they were. Soft as them vanilla wafers. They didn't want to be black, and they couldn't be white. So they were Schaefer wafers around here, man. They come in and listen on your conversation and go back and report to Schaefer. Some of them was police officers, but they'll never tell you that story. Some of them was police officers, but they'll never tell you that story. And others were some of these other ones running around here now that Schaefer is gone. I'm going to tell you what Schaefer did, but when Schaefer was here, they were Schaefer wafers, man. But let me open up the line. Take your thoughts, questions, comments on this Chris Brown verdict. Of course, the George Zimmerman, we're going to have plenty of time to get into that, but I'm already telling you and sharing with you, man, in the words of, what's that brother from Motown? Whitney Houston, where do broken hearts go? Because, of course, Sharpton and them are not going to tell you to do no boycott. Sharpton and them make more money from them same corporations they be telling you to boycott. So Sharpton, Baisden, he gone anyway. Ballantyne, he gone too. Joyner, Harvey's not going to tell you to boycott. What's the other ones running around that you listening to? They're not going to ask you to do no boycott. NAACP not going to call for no boycott. Urban League's not going to call for no boycott. And God knows the Associated Black Charities is not going to call for no boycott, man. But that should have been done right after the death of Trayvon Martin and other countless ones around this country, man. But the question is, we have to move, or we will be moved on, moved up, and moved out, and perhaps rounded up as well in this city, in this state, in this country. If you don't begin to stand up and not can up around these issues of injustices, and then have them put on the front page so that you'll know what's happening around this country, and not have black radio just dumbing you down and not talking about what's happening in the real court, but just continue to tell you about what's happening on the basketball court. With that, let me come to the line. Take your thoughts, questions, comments, 410-761-1592. And if you with the Sun Paper and you out there listening and you want to call, please feel free to call in. And if you one of the ones that was Schaefer wafers, if you want to call in, or if you were one of those that was out at this so-called mass wedding, it wasn't. I think only about 4 couples got married, but they had to make it look like it was more couples getting married for your mayor's sake, man. She know how to put up some props like O'Malley do with them when he gonna push some issue. Come here, Steph. Come here, Sheila. Come here, so and so. Just stand there in that picture right there. Just make me look good. You know how to come in and make him look good, as if he could ever look good. I don't even think that man can get a tan. Much less talk about look good. But let me open up the lines if you want to get in on the conversation. 410-761-1592. Get in where you fit in where you get in, man. But in the words of Public Enemy, can't trust them, man. Can't trust them around these judges, around some of these courts, man, and particularly around Scott Schellenberger. But I'm going to see if some of them ones that be talking about their cases will stand with that mother, Chris Brown, the mother of Christopher Brown. I'm going to ask you, was Jamal Bryant out there? Got to ask that question. Was C.D. Witherspoon out there? Guess if the camera's not around, some of these characters you can't find, man. Was C.D. Slitherspoon out there? Was Jamal Bryant out there? I just got to ask. Some of them ones that told the mother they were going to stand with her. Just got to ask, did they stand with her? Did they get their congregation members out to the court? Did C.D. get out there with his, what's that group he claimed to be running around with now? I'm not going to bring them up. But was he out there, man? And this was your Trayvon Martin case here in the city of Baltimore in the state of Maryland. So, again, if you can't get justice for Trayvon, Davons, and the Avons here, then God knows what's going to happen around the case of Trayvon Martin in Florida, man. But most of you ain't interested because the NBA was on. Now you're getting ready for the NFL and whatever other distractions and factions and fractions they got you caught up in. You ain't worrying about that. You going out to happy hour tonight, man. You ain't worrying about what's going on now. You worry about Trayvon Martin come Monday morning, man. You Monday morning quarterbacks, Monday morning wannabes, man, around these issues of injustice. But it could be Miss Brown's child yesterday, your child and your grandchildren tomorrow out there in Baltimore County. But I know you say you teach your children. You know, you're going to teach them a just to an injustice. If you see the police coming, just put your hands on their head. You ain't even done nothing, but you already teaching them the just to an injustice. Get your hands out your pocket, put your hand on top of your head, and do the hokey pokey and turn yourself around. What kind of fool are you? You think white people teach their children to do that? You think Hispanics and Mexicans that don't even speak the language teach their children to do that? But you're going to teach your children putting that fear in their system to adjust to these kind of injustices? Man, you got to wake up today. Let me come to the line. Afternoon caller, you on the State of the City. Turn that radio down just a little.
Yes, brother.
Yes,
you
sir.
know, that reminds me, like you always say, they always try to discredit somebody. Like they talking about the young Chris Brown.
Chris Brown
had marijuana. I don't care if he was high as Georgia's fire.
That's right.
He was not the aggressor.
That's right.
He was hiding.
Right.
Well, police had, or for lack of a better word, call them police. He had no reason
suspect
to come out of his home. I'd heard everything.
Right.
When they came back with that verdict, I was completely, utterly shocked.
Yeah.
It was almost as bad as when those white boys out in Towson, I believe
right,
cut that homeless man's arm off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they were the aggressors.
That was John Hopkins, brother.
John Hopkins,
yes,
right.
Sir, right.
Yeah. They were the aggressors.
They were the aggressor. Yeah.
I don't understand it, Brother Muhammad.
Yeah, we're going to have to do a show on what's the price and the value of a black life in Baltimore City, in the state of Maryland, or in this country, brother. That's a whole nother show, man. But again, no, man, LaBorde was the aggressor, and what's the price for knocking on a screen? You know, people. You know, you got Jehovah's Witnesses, you got Muslims, you got Christians, you got them two white boys you see in almost everybody neighborhood representing Jesus Christ, Latter-day Saints, go door to door knocking on the screens, right?
Right.
Now,
You're right.
You mean you got to be moved off the scene for throwing a rock at somebody's screen?
And now they're going to put him back on the street now. What are you going to do when he pull me over on Liberty Road? Yeah. I got a broken tail light.
And he
might blow my brains out.
Absolutely, man. And they do be pulling young people out of them cars up and down Liberty Road, right?
You think it's an accident.
Yes,
they didn't pull the brother over, got him sitting on the sidewalk.
And the sisters.
Thank you, brother,
all right, brother. Appreciate it. And them young sisters, man. You grown men up and down Liberty Road supposed to call yourself the Black Wall Street now of Baltimore. The Black Wall Street. You sit back and tolerate those injustices against your children. Don't think your children don't see it. Don't think your young people don't see it. But all you want to do, go get your drink on at Corinthians, wins the meal in, and then go home and fight and beat your woman up. But you ain't gonna stand up against them white racists or them black Pink Panthers, police officers. I'm not talking about the good ones, but you know what I'm talking about. The ones that just trying to get a quota off your children and get your children into the system. Get your young girls into the system. Get your young boys into the system. Or to remove them off the planet, man. When you going to stand up? Not stand up talking about what new suit you got. Not stand up talking about the latest dope boys that just came out. Not to stand up talking about who won the game. I told you Miami was going to win. You good at that. When it comes to injustice, can't find you. You'll be going to Miami, if you know what I mean. Let me come back to the lines. Good afternoon, caller. You on the State of the City.
Yes, Brother Anthony here, Brother Durham. How you doing, man?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. I'm blessed, man.
Yes, sir.
Look, I just wanted to draw this parallel, man. Look, I had custody of my daughter, my granddaughter, and I disciplined her, and I was investigated, right, by Child Protective Services,
yes,
right?
Sir. CPS, yes, sir.
Yes, Now, imagine if this cop had taken that boy, grabbed him by the ear, took him home to his parents, right?
Yes, sir.
And his father took him upstairs and disciplined him, right? Wrapped his arm around his neck, strangled him, and killed him, right?
Yes, sir.
Then he would have been charged with murder.
That's right. Yes, sir. Clearly. But but let you see there's two sets of laws or three sets of laws.
Exactly.
So they were protecting him whether he was in uniform or out of uniform, brother.
Yes, sir.
Because of the implications of what it would say if that jury would have came back with a guilty verdict, and if Scott Schellenberger, as the so-called state's attorney out there in Baltimore County, would have built a stronger case. But he started off with a lesser charge because he clearly didn't want this officer to be charged and do 1 day in jail, brother. All right?
That's right.
Appreciate you. Thank you for checking in. All right. And we'll take more of your calls, 410-761-1592. Now, another fraction I'm going to put the blame on out there is Christopher Brown friends. Now, you come in the hood, you ain't going to find Man, Riri, Nay, Mook, and Nookie and them letting some grown-ass man choke one of their boys out, man. Now, at the end of the day, it gets right down to that. You ain't gonna see them young brothers letting no grown man get on top of one of their boys and take their boy out, man. See, when you get to that point, it's better to be tried by 12 than to be carried by 6, if I can keep it real. So I blame his friends that ran away and left that young brother as well. Because friends don't do that to a friend, man, if I can keep it real. And they have to live with that for the rest of their lives. Friends don't let friends go out like that. We either going to ride or die, or we ain't going to ride at all, man. So I blame them friends as well of Christopher Brown, who perhaps stood around and didn't offer up any assistance to that young brother when that tragedy or that thug in LaBoard, because he cared more about, I don't know, what was he caring about? You can't tell me that he was worrying more about a screen. Because if he was worried about his safety, he'd have stayed in the house with his girlfriend, his fiance, and the children. But he didn't do that. So he obviously had to, assert himself, as some of you like to do. You want to flex your muscles on some of these young brothers when you should be showing them some love, but you don't want to do that because you got more George Zimmerman in you than perhaps George Zimmerman, if I can keep it real. Let me come back to the line, 410-761-1592. Good afternoon, caller. You on the State of the City.
Yeah, how you doing, Darren?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
I'm doing fine, man. Yeah, yesterday when we was talking listening to the show, you had called this case and said that it would be the outcome, like this, brother.
Yes, sir.
And, you could also see it, all the way down the line.
Right.
And when you look at, like the one down in Florida, Trayvon Martin.
Zimmerman. They got 6. What did you say? The jury is
That's
6.
Right,
6
brother.
white women. They didn't went and got Annette Funicello lookalikes and Betty White and maybe retired members of Miami Sound Machine.
And these fools don't see what's getting ready to happen down there.
Yes, sir.
And if I was the prosecution, I don't care if it would have taken me 2 years to make sure we had at least 5 blacks on that jury.
Yes, sir.
We would still been sitting down there.
That's right.
Okay?
Yes.
Until they came to a meeting of the minds that this is the way it's going to be if I'm the prosecutor.
Yes, sir.
Now you know that's what's getting ready to come down there.
They dealing from the same deck, man. That's all.
They
dealing from the same deck.
That's all they doing, Darren.
I check out the prosecutor and the defense team. They all may be going out to dinner together at night, man. So we just gonna put on a good show, all right?
Man, you're right, bro.
Yes, sir. You saw the O.J. Simpson trial. Just make me look good, man. I got to write my book when this is all over with.
Right there.
I want to be able to go on the talk show circuit, man.
That's right there.
Yes, sir.
As soon as this broke.